Well, I guess they don't want it to happen. And I love Elizabeth. We're allies on a whole host of issues. But she's wrong on this.
Who's right? Who's wrong?
Elizabeth's right. Totally right. Her op-ed that she wrote a few weeks ago in the Washington Post nailed the worst issue, which is this investor-state dispute settlement, secret corporate tribunals. This is what she meant by the rich get richer in that soundbite. It's one way. So when a corporation invests or wants to invest in any of the partner countries and they get blocked, they get to sue in a secret tribunal, literally secret, with corporate lawyers presiding, and they get reparations for any damage to future lost profits, not just their investment. So let me give an example, because it sounds like gibberish even to my two daughters, who are quite smart. But Occidental Petroleum sues Ecuador because Ecuador denies drilling rights off their coast to protect their environment. Occidental Petroleum got $2.3 billion for the future lost profits of drilling they never did. And Ecuador doesn't have $2.3 billion. So the outcome eventually will be they'll let them drill. Philip Morris sues Uruguay and Australia because both countries put in plain package cigarette labeling, stripped off the labeling. Australia put health warnings on there. And they sued. That suit is ongoing. So imagine this. A nation can't warn people about cancer on cigarette packages because, in this case, they're damaging the future profits of Philip Morris. Philip Morris sues them. There's 500 cases in process right now. The worst is really Vattenfall, a Swedish company, versus Germany. Merkel, a conservative, after Fukushima, passed legislation in the Bundestag saying we're going to phase out nuclear power plants. They're located in Germany in highly populated areas. Vattenfall is suing. That's ongoing. 5 billion euros. $6 billion lawsuit. This is what investor-state dispute settlement is. It's core to the TPP. Our fast-track proposal, which was dumped last week with no warning, 115-page bill, does nothing to rein in investor-state dispute settlement, and it's outrageous. This is what Elizabeth's talking about. The president's wrong. The president's totally wrong. And he flips it around on us. He says, well, I've been with working people before. Yeah, the question, Mr. President, is where are you now?
Right. No, I saw him at the White House last week in the news conference with Matteo Renzi, the Prime Minister of Italy, and this question came up, and he said that was his response. Look, this is me, right? You know, these are not big corporations that elected me. It was working people, working families. That's who I've always represented. So, of course, he says, I'm not going to do any deal that's going to be bad for working families.
And he's got it totally backwards. He knows it. He's moving here on direction from the State Department, from the National Security Council, from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. He's got it totally wrong. First time in my 10 years as president, every union in this country, not just AFL-CIO, carpenters, Teamsters, SEIU, National Education Association, every major environmental group, every immigrant rights group, because this is their story. Families ruined by NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement in Mexico. Families ruined by CAFTA, the Central America Free Trade Agreement. Farmers, small farmers lost their land. Every progressive group in the base of the Democratic Party is against fast track.
Is against fast track. And I want to ask you particularly because the issue now is fast track, right? Which is giving the president the authority to make the deal, and Congress then would only be able to vote yes or no, right?
That's it.
Yeah. Now, the president says every other president has had that authority, Democrats and Republicans. Why not me?
So first of all, he had it for 3 trade deals that are quite questionable. Colombia, where there continue to be murders of all kinds of human rights activists, including union activists. Panama and Korea. Korea is only 2 years ago that was passed under fast track and under his administration. And the trade deficit in Korea has doubled in 2 years. So, you know, he has had fast track on 3 deals. The record's not good, Mr. President. We don't want fast track. No other democracy in the world has fast track. They all have bilateral trade agreements.
So we've seen he's made these other deals, and these are bad deals.
They're bad deals. Panama, we could be agnostic about. But, mostly bad deals. And he has had it. And this fast track bill that was introduced, again, in secret last Thursday, the day after that rally, is mostly giving fast track authority to the next president. We don't even know who the next president is. It extends for 5 years. And we don't even know how many trade deals will come under that fast track because they can be initiated a year or 2 years from now.
Do we know what's in this deal? by the way?
We have the leaks. Yeah,
Leaks,
pretty sad that WikiLeaks is our best authority. That's how I read the investor chapter. That's the labor chapter, the environmental chapter, WikiLeaks, and then yes, you can. Some of us can go into who are cleared can go into rooms with no pen, no paper, no recordings, and read certain slices of it. But 600 multinational corporations have had inside ability to work on their pieces. Big Pharma, all kinds of companies have been able to, Wall Street, to work on their parts of this 1,000 to 2,000 page document that's 99% done.
That's the complaint that I hear most often from Democrats in Congress, and many of them have been in here. Rosa DeLauro and many others.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Said that that they really are kept in the dark, whereas these corporate people who are affected by this they're part of they're at the table, they're writing their own little piece of it, and they know more than members of Congress know about this.
Yeah, well, about their piece, they know everything.
Yeah,
because
right.
As you just said, they actually helped write it. And Rosa's been amazing. She's really whipping this issue. What's also amazing about the president's comments is 80 to 85% of House Democrats are definitely going to vote no. He's rolling his own party. He doesn't run again for election. They run again, and they have to face voters. They have to face a Democratic base. They will face primaries in some cases based on this issue, because this issue is the giant economic issue of the day. It's not just another issue where we say, well, you're right most of the time. This is our jobs. This is our environment. This is our safety. This is our future.
To the extent that you know what's in this deal, are there any protections for jobs, for wages? Are there any protections for the environment?
Yeah, there is better language in some of the chapters. The problem is, compared to investor state that we just talked about, how are our issues, how are citizen issues enforced? They're enforced by, we file a complaint, and then eventually the appropriate government agency, let's say it's a labor issue, the Labor Department, International Labor Affairs Bureau, eventually they write a report. So I've been involved in Honduras with atrocities that have occurred there since the coup. It took 3 years. We just got the report, 3 years after we filed the complaint.
Whoa. Hundreds
of people murdered, human rights lawyers, 45 journalists murdered, labor leaders murdered during that time, unions destroyed. 3 years to get a report. Eventually, the U.S. Trade Representative, the same Mr. Michael Froman, if he's still in office, will meet with the government. That's what we get. We get a report, a very nice report, 128 pages.
Yeah.
Meeting. We don't get a meeting. He gets to have a meeting. Government to government. They get to sue. They get reparations. We get a report.
Yeah.
That's the system.
I think that answers the question. Right. Hillary Clinton yesterday said she didn't say yes, she didn't say no. She said any new trade deal has to, as I remember, has to create jobs.
Yep.
Where does do we know where she stands on the TPP?
No, and we need that's what we need to do. It's one of the reasons why I did write earlier in a column with Annie Leonard from Greenpeace that primaries are helpful, because how do you get a real debate? But let me say this about Secretary Clinton. In her new book, Hard Choices, and yes, I know the page number, 509, she actually says in that book, she questions, without naming it investor-state dispute settlement, she questions trade deals that have special processes for corporations to sue in one-way lawsuits. So I think we need to lift that up. I actually applaud her for that. But now this is the time to come out. Fast track is being fast-tracked. Nobody read that 113-page bill till it was dumped last Thursday. The bill has nothing of use in it. We need Secretary Clinton to say nothing's been done here to rein in ISDS, even to rein it in, to say that if it's cigarettes or if it's this or that, it can't apply. Nothing's been done to rein it in. And she needs to step up and say, I'm on the side of the Democratic base. They're right. Unfortunately, our president is not right on this one.